Hey, Nadya Dickson here with the Master's Program for Women, and I want to say to you, Happy Shavuot. What is Shavuot? Well, it is a Jewish holiday. We know it as the day of Pentecost. Well, you may say, we already celebrated this in May, not June the 13th. But in the Jewish calendar, instead of just having one extra day in the month of February for leap year, they add a whole extra month. So today is the Festival of Weeks, or the Festival of First Fruits, or otherwise known as Shavuot. Okay, why is this relevant for us today? Well, this is relevant for us because we know this as the day of Pentecost. Jesus told the disciples, don't leave Jerusalem until you receive the gift from the Father. Now, he knew he was going to be ascending, and so after his ascension, they followed his instruction. They went to Jerusalem, where there were already so many people gathered to celebrate this Festival of Weeks. And on the day of Pentecost, as they were gathered in the upper room, a mighty rushing wind came in and filled the upper room, and then fire dispersed among each one of them. It says, as cloven or divided tongues of fire on each one of them. What happened next is they are now out amongst the people and speaking in all of the native languages of all of the different ethnicities that are there, all of the different languages that are represented by those gathered. There was a supernatural platform created for them, and Peter stood up, lifted up his voice, and what they experienced was the first harvest of this supernatural empowerment. You know, Jesus said, look, for the fields are white, they're full of the harvest, but pray that God sends the laborers because they are few. Well, guess what? The reason why we pursue LifeMastery to discern and walk in LifeMission is because we are part of God's rescue plan now. Jesus has sent us, so we are the sent ones. And as we discern our life mission, or our unique part of God's rescue plan, we need the life force of the Holy Spirit. God has called us to a supernatural work, and for us to have a supernatural platform and to be empowered, emboldened, and prepared to do the work He's called us to do, we need to have a life force, the Holy Spirit in us, as Christ, the hope of glory, is on display in our lives. You know, over the last few weeks, we've heard from Jeff Gearhart as he talked about forgiveness. We heard a powerful word from Noah as he talked about shedding the false identity. And then just last week, we heard from Rob Dayton as he talked about exercising that muscle against sin, or whole life fitness. We need the life force of the Holy Spirit to do all of these things. We make the choice, but then He empowers us to practice righteousness. So this summer, why don't you intentionally spend time learning about and spending time with the Holy Spirit? We need His power to do the very things that He's called us to do. God has called us to do a supernatural work, and we need His super on our natural to fulfill His call on us in these days. Until then, I'm in your corner.